What's up, you guys? It's Steve here, and we have the official, newly released stimulus reconciliation framework that was announced by President Joe Biden. And this is your stimulus update and your infrastructure bill update. And take a look, you guys. We've got this article right here that says Biden's Build Back Better bill. What made it in and what has been stripped out. The $1.75 trillion bill would fund universal preschool and provide hearing benefits under Medicare, but no longer includes paid leave. And I'm going to be diving into this article, and it's going to break down for us the amounts, the allocations for each provision, and what has made it in and what is out and what has stayed the same. I've also got some video footage I'm going to be sharing with you as we're getting details directly from the White House on information in this framework. And if you missed the announcement, be sure to check out my previous video that I uploaded this morning as I shared with you President Joe Biden saying, we have a deal on the stimulus framework. But we're also hearing that it might be a little bit premature because there's actually a lot of progressives and two conservative Democrats that are not on board yet with the entirety of the framework. So you guys, let's dive into the details, get you caught up as to what's actually in there, what's not, and go through this video footage so you can be up to speed on everything in the revised stimulus reconciliation bill as of today, October 29th, 2021. But before we dive in, if you could do me a quick favor, just takes a second. If you appreciate the updates, don't forget to smash the like button. Helps out with the YouTube algorithm, just takes a second. I would really appreciate it. Thank you so much. Also, leave your comments, share this out if you think it's going to help out other people. If this is your first time here and you want to stay up to date, hit the subscribe button and turn on that notification bell. I'll keep you up to speed on everything going on, and you can come join the viewing community, the Ram fam. I'll keep you up to date. And if you got any specific questions for me, shoot them to me in the DM on Instagram at SteveRam3, which is by far the best way to get a hold of me if you have any specific questions. But with that being said, you guys, let's go ahead and dive right in and let's take a look at this video footage. And I gotta say, I gotta give the reporter a lot of credit because you're gonna see as soon as she starts, there's like a fly or a bee in her face, and then towards the end, it sounds like there's a plane or a helicopter flying over her head, and she's very composed the entire time. So let's go ahead and take a look.
I want to go to NBC's Monica Alba from the White House. And I guess the question to you is, what's the difference between a framework and an actual deal in this case?
That's the million-dollar question here, Lester. The president trying to project optimism in what he believes is an outline and an agreement that he hopes the entirety of his own Democratic Party can get behind, but he simply does not have that guarantee at this hour. He is coming out and saying that he didn't get everything he wanted in this proposal, and in fact that no one did, that it was all about compromise. And the president, when he did meet earlier with Democrats about that deal, which right now is top line numbered at $1.75 trillion. It does include universal pre-K funding for child care and for elder care, but what's not in it is paid family leave and free community college, two things that candidate Biden had promised and that he believes also helped him get elected. So there's still a lot of negotiating to do. There's a lot that wasn't mentioned in the president's speech because he's going to continue these conversations with Capitol Hill, with lawmakers. Earlier today, he told them it was no exaggeration to say that the future of their parties and their very slim majorities in Congress and in the 2022 midterms and his entire presidency rides on whatever happens with these two infrastructure bills. So the president just moments away from departing for these high-stakes summits overseas in Italy and Scotland, major economic and climate summits where he wanted to tout some progress. It seems here he is taking a major gamble, saying this is the framework I would like the Democratic Party to get behind, but he still needs to wait for a thumbs up from these key senators, holdouts, Joe Manchin and Kyrsten Sinema, who tentatively have said they can get behind this, but there are also questions still from the Progressive Party about whether this is going to be enough. So while the president is in the air aboard Air Force One just about an hour from now, I'm told he will still be making calls, engaging with lawmakers to see if any kind of a vote can come together today or in the next few days, with the president saying essentially to members of his own party, I need you, I need your votes, and this is the moment to get behind me and this agenda, Lester.
All right, Monica, thank you. I want to go to our senior Capitol Hill correspondent, Garrett Hake. And Garrett, first of all, it felt very much like a victory lap, but as Monica noted, we don't know that the president has the votes. This is also a multi-step dance with the infrastructure bill being held in the balance. Can you walk us through all that?
Yeah, and I thought your question to Monica summed it up. This is a framework, but not a deal. Those two lawmakers, Kyrsten Sinema and Joe Manchin, have both either put out statements or had interactions with reporters since this framework came out this morning, in which they were broadly supportive but declined to commit specifically to voting for this framework once it becomes legislation. Now, the goal here is for the House to act today. Speaker Pelosi said she wants to act today on the hard infrastructure bill that was passed with bipartisan support through the Senate several months ago. That frustrates progressives, the left of the Democratic Party, who say, we don't want to vote on that bill until we're certain that another bill even exists and that it will make it through the Senate with this framework that the president outlined today. So the framework itself has been pretty positively received on Capitol Hill. There's some frustration about elements that had to be left on the cutting room floor, including the paid family leave program specifically. But now there's a very delicate and at sometimes forceful whip operation going on Capitol Hill to try to twist every Democratic arm and see if a victory for the president in the form of a completed vote on that hard infrastructure bill can't be delivered by the time he lands in Rome tonight.
So there you have it. Let me know your thoughts in the comments down below. And that came out yesterday as we heard him announce that they had a deal on the framework. And he is now in Rome. He's met with the Pope. And we're hearing that Congress is working away. And as we saw late last night, there was not a vote on the infrastructure bill because we heard that progressives said we were not going to vote on it until there's stimulus reconciliation ready or infrastructure will be wrecked by progressives. So they are still working away, and here is where it currently stands. Take a look, you guys. Link in the description below if you'd like to see this for yourself. Biden's Build Back Better bill, what's made it in, and what has been stripped out. It says the Build Back Better framework unveiled by the White House on Thursday revises key climate change proposals, keeps funding for universal pre-kindergarten, and jettisons earlier plans to provide paid family and medical leave. The changes come after months of negotiations between moderates, progressives, and the White House over the components of a massive social safety net package. Here's a look at what's new, what's out, and what's kept intact in the $1.75 trillion package that's now half the size of the initial proposal from President Joe Biden. And we've also heard Senator Bernie Sanders, Pramila Jayapal, several others say they wanted to see $6 trillion, $7 trillion, $10 trillion. They wanted to see a fourth stimulus check. Some wanted to see monthly reoccurring stimulus checks, and several called for an unemployment extension, none of which have made it in. They said they already compromised at $3.5 trillion, and now it's going down to $1.75. So let's take a look at what's actually in there. So here's a chart. What's in the Build Back Better Act proposal? You can see on the left, there is childcare and preschool. Green, home care. The blue, you can see child tax earned income tax credits are still in there. Also clean energy and climate investments in yellow. In the red, the ACA credits. Housing, higher education and work, Medicare hearing, equity and other investments, and immigration. And here you can see there's an actual breakdown of each provision and the amounts allocated. Childcare and preschool will get $400 billion. Home care, $150 billion. Child tax credits, $200 billion. Clean energy climate, $550 billion. ACA credits, $130 billion. Medicare hearing, specifically just hearing, $35 billion. Housing, $150 billion. Higher education and workforce, $40 billion. Equity and other investments, $90 billion. And immigration, $100 billion. Now jumping down, it says here is what's new. Climate. The proposed framework contains over $550 billion to tackle climate crisis, down from its initial proposal of $600 billion. Instead of imposing fines for electric utility companies that don't switch from fossil fuels to renewable or clean energy sources, an approach opposed by Senator Joe Manchin, the climate portion of the bill relies heavily on providing $320 billion in expanded clean energy tax credits. Rather than punishing for bad behavior, they're now rewarding for good behavior. Biden said the bill will lower carbon emissions and help people do things like weatherize their homes so they use less energy, install solar panels, and develop clean energy products, help businesses produce more clean energy. Medicare benefits are new as well. The framework would expand Medicare coverage to include a hearing benefit at an estimated cost of $35 billion. The initial version of the proposal included vision and dental benefits as well, but that plan was scrapped after the objections from Senator Joe Manchin and Kyrsten Sinema. Here is what's out. paid family leave. Despite its popularity in public polling, paid family and medical leave plan was left out on the cutting room floor due to opposition from Manchin. The 4-week version had been whittled down from the initially proposed 12-week version in the $3.5 trillion version of the bill. Free community college is also out. The initial version of the plan included 2 years of free community college, which would have cost the government $109 billion. Dental and vision, an initial proposal championed by Senator Bernie Sanders to add dental and vision benefits to Medicare coverage, was stripped out, along with an effort to provide $800 vouchers to help cover dental costs that was floated by President Joe Biden. Lower prescription drug prices, a proposal to allow Medicare to negotiate lower drug prices, was yanked after pushback from some moderate Democrats. But some Democratic lawmakers say the provision could find its way back into the bill. And also keep in mind, we will see another bill in the year 2022, we have heard from President Joe Biden. The influential AARP blasts the proposal's mission on Thursday, with Executive Vice President Nancy Lehman saying it would be a monumental mistake for Congress not to act on a historic opportunity to improve the lives of virtually every American family. And here is what is the same. Universal pre-K. The federal government would expand access to preschool for 3- and 4-year-olds with funding for the next 6 years. The White House said that that would mean free preschool for more than 6 million children, and also the child and earned income tax credits are staying the same. It says the bill would fund a 1-year extension of the child tax credit, originally expanded under a pandemic relief bill. The credit has benefited household earnings up to $150,000 a year by providing direct cash payments from the IRS for their kids. The program provides a monthly child cash allowance of $300 per child under 6 years of age and $250 for each child between the ages of 6 and 17. The Build Back Better bill would also make the refundability of the tax credits permanent. Separately, the measure would continue to expand earned income tax credits for 17 million low-wage workers, an estimated cost of $200 billion. So you guys, those are the details of the framework that was released on stimulus reconciliation, what has made it in, what has not made it in, what has been revised, and what has stayed the same. Now, just to clarify, this is currently still under negotiations. We've heard a lot about tax credit revisions, and all the provisions included getting modified again. As you know, the child tax credit was 4 years, now it's 1 year. We heard 12 weeks of paid family leave got taken down to 4 weeks. A lot of modifications, and it is still being revised at this very moment. And as I mentioned in the previous video, that announcement that they had a deal on a framework was a little bit premature because they're still working on this, trying to revise it. And even yesterday, we saw Speaker of the House Nancy Pelosi try to bring it to the floor for a vote, and we heard that she did not because the votes were not there. They are still working away on this, you guys. And I'll be sure to keep you up to date as more updates roll out on the stimulus reconciliation bill. So as always, you guys, thank you so much for joining me here on the channel. And if you made it this far and you haven't already, don't forget, smash the like button. Helps out with the YouTube algorithm, just takes a second. Thank you so much. Also, leave your comments, share this out. If this is your first time here and you want to stay up to date, hit the subscribe button, turn on that notification bell, come join the Ram fam. And if you got any specific questions for me, shoot them to me in the DM on Instagram at SteveRam3, and I'll catch you in the next video. Remember, regular uploads 3 p.m. Pacific Standard Time. Right now, usually during the week, I'm doing about 2 or 3 uploads a day. So just check in and see what videos I've done. We've got a lot coming out right now on this as Congress is working away to try to wrap this up. But you guys, there's a lot of stuff changing pretty much by the hour. So I'll be sure to keep you guys up to date here on the channel, and I'll catch you in the next video. Thanks so much for joining me. Take care. God bless. This is Steve.